In this video, we're going to talk about tips to record a self-tape, your presence in the video, script analysis, adding your own creativity to your performance, directing yourself, the importance of lighting in the video, and finally, some basic editing tips to compile your video. Hey everyone, my name is Dom and this is Filmmaking Simplified, where we talk about everything that belongs to the art of filmmaking. So this video is going to be more for actors or anyone that wants to apply for roles in movies, but a self-tape doesn't necessarily have to be for a casting call only. It can be for any job opportunities. So parts of this video could be useful for everybody. Now, more and more often productions will ask for online casting tapes. Maybe not the entire casting process will be online, but the first round might as well. More important parts tend to have in-person castings, of course, but the casting for smaller parts can entirely be online. The downside of all online casting tapes is that you don't have real-life feedback. The director can't instruct you if you don't immediately catch what they're looking for in the character. So when you record a casting tape all by yourself, you have to focus on much more than acting alone to get a callback, or if it's a small part, maybe the part itself even. Alright, let's see how you can bring out the most of a casting tape. Before you even think about starting to record yourself, understand the scene you got, the character you will be playing as much as you can. Don't think that just because maybe it's a small part with one line or even without a line, you have to work less. Directors are very detail-oriented creatures, so they will make sure that even somebody who's only visible for like 2 seconds matches their vision. At least a good director will. So read the scene and understand it. Understand who you are in the scene. What's your motive? Why are you in there? What would happen if you weren't doing what you do in that scene? What would be different? Chances are that you will get a character description. That can be a lot of help, of course. Now, a character description might only be a sentence though, providing you with the minimum information like what the character's job is or purpose in the scene. Or maybe all you got is the character's name or title. This very much depends on the importance of the part. For instance, last November I sent a casting tape for a small part in the TV series FBI International, and all I got is the character's name, Analyst. And of course I also got the pages for the part. Not much, but still enough to get started with. Obviously, if it had been a more important part, maybe through multiple episodes, I would have gotten more, but well, I had one line. Anyway, so basically I had to fill up the rest of the information and write a character description for me, basically. Figure out how he talks, what he's wearing, and so on. And I mean, I did get the part, so I guess apart from matching the director's vision, I also did a good job with my casting tape. I would show it to you in comparison with the clip from the episode itself, but I'm not sure how much I can share of the casting procedure, so I'll just show you the end result. So here it is.
17 Demir's.
They just caught in a power outage. My 2 seconds of fame. Super awesome experience, by the way. It was one day of paradise, basically. Now, for the sake of a more complex example, let's go with a character called the Mechanic. Here, the job title itself gives you a pretty good description for the character as well. What's a mechanic like? Now, I'm gonna generalize and go with cliches, so forgive me for that. Because I mean, unless it's the Fast and the Furious, a mechanic is not very sophisticated. And sophistication will show you how they dress, how they speak, how much they care about themselves, their hygiene, and so on. So already you can put all this information in your performance by dressing up as a mechanic and speak like one. When it comes to casting tapes, it's not crucial to get yourself a costume, and they will probably ask for a medium close-up, so not much of your outfit would show anyway. But in my opinion and experience, it helps a lot for you to get into the character, and to be honest, for the production as well, to visualize what you would look like in the role. So speaking the way a mechanic would is also very important. You're gonna decide what a person like that sounds like. In your head, maybe they have a sudden accent, or they just speak without very much opening their mouth, or they speak so fast that you can hardly understand what they're saying. It's up to your imagination if the script doesn't provide clear instructions on that. Many directors love input from actors, so making the part your own already for the casting tape can give ideas to the directors, and they will see that you're a creative person and you won't just sit around waiting for their instructions to turn yourself into the character that the story requires. Now, after you know who you are, imagine where you are. what's around you, how you feel, what your character did just before they entered the scene. So even if you're recording your tape in an empty room, imagine everything that is supposed to be around you according to the scene. So if we stick to the part, the mechanic, and your scene is set in a repair shop, imagine the car that's around you. Imagine your colleague cursing because he can't loosen a screw in one of the cars. Imagine all the tools around you, the smell of the oil and the grease, whatever. I'm sure you've been to a repair shop. Imagine all that and know exactly where all these things are around you. When it comes to directing yourself for the scene, whether instructions are given or not, knowing your purpose or goal, your tactics, what you have to do to achieve your goal, and your execution, how you're gonna achieve that goal, is very important. For example, as a mechanic, you maybe have to convince your customer that the car can be fixed and you would buy it off of him, but not for a lot of money. All your lines will be written, so what you will have to work with is what you put behind the words. Your goal is to buy the car. Your tactics is that you will convince him that it can't be fixed and nobody would give more money for it. And your execution is how you present these facts. Are you pushy? Are you just very confident? Do you act careless? Always consider these three factors about any scenes you do. Now you can do multiple versions of the character to show them as much of yourself as you can. And here I like to emphasize the importance of showing as much of yourself as possible in a casting tape. What's not in the video and in your performance won't matter to anyone. What do I mean? Well, simply making a casting video where you don't give 100%, thinking that if you get the part you will show them what you're capable of, just doesn't work, because the people that will be watching your video will assume that that's all you can do because you did give 100%. The only way you can do 100% if you work on the scene and practice it. You can record yourself, then analyze your performance, make conclusions, show it to friends, and then do it again until you feel like you can't do better. Now, a technique that I think is very helpful and it's especially useful when it comes to casting videos, and I use this all the time, is starting the scene over the second you finish it. The thing is that when you begin a scene, you might not be in the character as much as you will be by the end of it. So starting again immediately will help you get the beginning right as well. It works really well when it comes to doing monologues or poems as well. Now let's move on to how you record. Casting directors always give, or usually they give, clear instructions like which lines you have to say, how many variations you have to make, what kind of shot it has to be, and so on. Most of the time they will be interested in your face, so you will have to record yourself in a medium close-up with horizontal aspect ratio. You can use your phone to record with and a window to record in front of to put nice and even light on your face. And here I will stop for a second because I want to emphasize the importance of lighting. Lighting can very much define what your face looks like, and that's what the directors are interested in, so it's really important. Let's use my face for the example. In the clip on the left, I'm in the same room with a light bulb and the light is coming from above me. It creates very ugly shadows around my eyes and face. The one on the right, however, is in front of a window, putting a nice and even light on my face. It makes a huge difference. Now, if you don't have a good window or you never have time to record the tape during daylight, get yourself some sort of a beauty light like this one right here. It will solve this problem. After lighting, make sure that you have a clear and organized background. Remember, that also says a lot about you, which can be important information for the director when it comes to choosing between two candidates. Make sure that you record at a quiet place so you can record clear audio as well. If the scene has other people talking in it, ask your friends to help you read in the lines. It will also be easier for you to react and say your own line. If you can't ask anyone, make an audio recording with your own voice and react to that when you record your part. This is something that's also often required by casting directors. Another thing you might be asked for is a slate video where you have to record yourself from toes to head, say your name and height. It's best not to ever mention your age. Let them decide if you fit the character with how young or old you look. Knowing your age can affect their decision. This slate video you can record with a vertical aspect ratio. So you just put down your phone, holding like this, like a normal phone, and you record it. Alright, now that you have your video recorded, let's see a few options to edit the video together. I will give you brief tips only because it's very straightforward and can also be done on your phone. I know editing sounds scary to a lot of people, but in reality, you don't have to be, especially when it comes to editing something like this. First of all, if you record with your phone, you can trim the videos on it as well. Cut down the beginning and the end, for example. And if you have an iPhone, you have iMovie pre-installed that you can use to put the clips one after the other. Probably Android devices have apps as well, but I'm not familiar with those. Now, if you're the braver type and you want to edit on a computer, search for online tools or download free-to-use programs. You will have to do 3 things to finish up the video. Trim the clips so there aren't any unnecessary parts in them. Use only one-take clips. Don't cut in between lines or in between your performance. Create a title card with your name and the name of the part you're auditioning for. Put the clips after one another and don't use background music. So that was actually 4, but whatever. But basically that's it in a nutshell. Very often it's not even necessary to put up the title cards and show some text, but it makes the whole thing much more elegant and professional looking. And nonetheless, it shows the effort that you put into your casting tape, which is, I think, very important. And basically, that's it in a nutshell. After you send the video, the most important thing is patience and knowing that it's okay if you don't get the part. If you did all that you could and your performance is as good as it can be, then it's all up to the character type the director is looking for. There are so many great actors auditioning for big parts that they won't get, but that's not because they're not good and they can't actually act, obviously. In fact, they expect only good performances. That's like a baseline for them. You just have to have that little something that directors usually can't put in words or explain, but they do need it. So long story short, just don't be sad. It's like with the most cliche breakup line. The problem is not you, it's with me. That's it for today's video. So if you enjoyed it and you feel like you learned something, don't forget to subscribe and give this video a like. Both really helps growing this community. If you have a thought, share it with me in the comment section and let's have a chat. Thank you so much for watching and for your time. Have a great day. Ciao.